yeah, so I think there's like this stigma around like wellness, well-being, and like breath work and yoga, particularly from the men's perspective and those sorts of things. I was just talking to you about the TikTok that I saw on my feed come up, and it was of this man who obviously had like lots of pent-up trauma or something going on in his life, and he had just done breath work and was like screaming, and that was the clip on TikTok. I was just scrolling through the comments, and a lot of them was just horrible, just bashing him and saying like, oh, just grow up. Like, why is he screaming for? Like, oh, breathwork's like, surely breathwork doesn't do that, and those sorts of things. Talk to us a bit about breathwork. Like, what are you actually doing?
So like I said before, there's so many different ways to breathe. Like there's ways that you can breathe that is going to improve your CO2 levels in your body, which is going to have you breathing more functionally. So like you're going to be taking less breaths per minute. And but then there's also the breath work where you would have seen the trauma release, and that is where you're activating your sympathetic nervous system. So the functional stuff is predominantly nose breathing, because our noses are made for breathing and our mouths aren't. But then this magical thing happens when you do mouth breathe with intention, and you kind of go into a sympathetic state, which is your fight or flight state. And you know that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? So that's coming from the word, like hermetic stress is that saying. So it's like putting your body under a controlled state of stress where you're telling yourself that you're safe and you're like controlling your stress response, and it's helping you grow, right? So when you're mouth breathing, you're putting yourself into that state. Same like when you get into an ice bath and your body goes, oh my fucking God, what's happening? And you sit in it, you're having your stress response, but you're relaxing into it and you're telling your body you're good and you're safe, right? And that's helping you grow. Same with breath work, mouth breathing. And again, this is only my opinion, but this is what I believe. So when you're, the crying and the screaming and the sweating and the release side of it comes from putting yourself into a state of stress, I guess, but just kind of holding space. And it's often a lyrical journey. It's often the music that is the trigger for the emotional release in a breathwork session, because you just get so lost. You're just listening to the lyrics, and then, they say one thing in the lyric, and that just sends you and takes you back to a moment where, like you do, like I've gone back to moments in breathwork where I've had like screaming moments when a lyric has reminded me of some time when I was younger when I didn't feel safe to just tell someone to just fuck off, and I didn't have that in me. And then all of a sudden that lyric has taken me physically back to that moment, because you're just holding space for your body to just shift what's in your energy field, right?
There could honestly be a podcast on music.
Yeah.
And like the effect on the body and the mind.
Yeah. I was listening to a song the other day that gave me goosebumps and made me start crying, and I was like, oh my gosh. But then, some people don't feel that.
Exactly. So
some people don't feel music in their body. Some people don't have that visceral reaction to music. Yeah. Because when I call people and I say, hey, send me some songs for our one-on-one, they go, I don't have any songs. I don't have Spotify. I don't have Apple Music. Like I just listen to the radio, and I'm like, what? You don't have music playing 24/7?
Yeah.
But like
there's so much research on like what lyrics can do to you, what maybe the beat or pace of the song can do to you. And I'd love to get like a musical, I don't know, like analyst or someone that is in that field to just talk about it, because I think it's so interesting how music can have such an immense impact on like your thought processes. Because like the song that you listened to that made you cry might, I don't know, make someone super happy.
Yeah. Oh, no, all the ones that make me cry, like real, like To Build a Home.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I don't know, that one, oh, gosh.
Yeah. But no, you're right though. There's like one of my girlfriends, one of my sad songs is her like everything song. She's like, that's my sad song, that's my happy song, that's my this song, that's my ex's, like that's my everything song. Yeah. I'm like, okay. And she's like, whatever I tap into when I'm listening to it is what happens. But that's what happens when people with breath work. I mean, you can have an emotional release without music, but from what I've found, at least 90% of the people who have the emotional release, it is invoked by the song or the lyric or the moment that their body has taken them to. And you cry about it and, you grieve it. But that's the beauty of it. Like you just hold space for your body to go back to those moments like that person would have done in that TikTok. And he's not faking that. You literally can't fake that. Like and letting it out is shifting, and like you physically feel lighter. And then when you feel lighter and you don't have all this density in your body, you don't have dis-ease, right? Like there's no dis-ease in your body, and then that's disease.
Oh.
I mean, maybe it's just like a play on words. Maybe it's a coincidence, but maybe it's not. But like once you start just like holding space for yourself to just like go and feel and like go there and do it, and it shifts everything and you become lighter. I was never this happy person. I was like the most energy draining vampire who just wanted to complain and just like all that kind of stuff and just like stay at that victim mindset, because that was I could predict that. I could predict the fact that I was going to feel like a victim tomorrow, and I was going to, you know, call my best friend and complain and do all this kind of shit, because we want to be able to predict what our outcome is, right? And we like predicting discomfort. Like we like predicting that low vibration rather than stepping into the unknown of what changing something might be. Like the reason you cry and scream in breath work is because you're just holding space for yourself to release what you haven't held space for. But like when you don't release that, it comes up in so many other ways, physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And that keeps you at a low vibration.
Yeah, I feel like that alone is a message to, I don't know, maybe reconsider like the stigma or the stereotype that you hold against maybe breath work or...
And like breathing is our life force. You can go days without food, days without water, days without sleep. You literally can't go. I mean, some people can go like 10 minutes without breathing if they get themselves there, like prepare themselves. But as like a society, you can't go a minute without your breath, but it's the last thing you look at when anything else falls out of alignment. It's like you're so worried about your steps and your calories and your fat intake and all this other shit. And it's like, none of that matters. Like you actually can go so much time without even worrying about all those things. You actually can't go a minute without breathing, but you think that that's all it is. You think that it's just this part of your body that's just happens.